Hello, everyone. My name is Bill Perkins. I am the SDYC Cruise Fleet Captain. We're going to welcome tonight's speaker, Dave Abrams. I'm going to let Brad Brown, our Deputy Cruise Captain, take over from here. And thank you all for being there.
Well, welcome, everybody. We have Dave Abrams. I'll give you the bio of Dave. It's very long and involved because this guy has done a lot of stuff. And then I'll tell you what you really need to know from Dave. Dave is the owner and CEO of Training Resources Maritime Institute based in San Diego. TRLMI is the largest West Coast provider of Coast Guard certified training courses for both military and civilian mariners. In addition, he's a capitalist or venture capitalist.
Both.
And he funded a lot of companies, runs a lot of companies, among which he's got the product of one. He's wearing it. How often do you get to wear your product? And Dave is wearing the Ren Spooner shirt, which we should all invest in. So everybody get a Ren Spooner shirt. I think they're sold right out of the yacht club, right, Dave?
They are.
Okay. And but more importantly, Dave was our speaker presenter a week ago on anchoring. And you think you know everything there is to know about anchoring. Well, let me give you a little tidbit. If you didn't attend the anchoring course that Dave kicked off, I'll give you a tidbit about anchoring. There is no penalty for putting out more road. Okay, just remember that. There's no penalty for putting out, that's all you need to know about anchoring. Anyway, Dave is going to talk about the CUBAR and more. Take it away, Dave.
All right, thanks, Brad, and thanks everybody for joining tonight. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, good. Well, yeah, looking forward to sharing a little bit about CUBAR and about cruising in Mexico in general. I led the 2019 cruise down to CUBAR. I'm going to tell you what CUBAR is all about. I'm going to start off with a little bit of a video that we shot that was produced by Justin Edelman, who came along the CUBAR trip with us and documented it and produced some great videos and pictures. So I'm going to share that video first. And then I've got a presentation to go over and talk to you more about CUBAR and the all the adventures down in Mexico. One disclaimer, so when you see me in the video, please keep in mind that was after 3 weeks of being on a boat. And Justin came to me on the last day of the cruise and said, "Oh, we never shot your interview." So with 5 minutes notice, we hooked up the cameras and shot a video in my pilot house. So you'll see what I mean when you see the video. So I'm going to share my screen. I ask everybody go on mute if you can, so everybody else can hear the content. I'm going to share my screen and hopefully this works. Can everybody see that now? And I want to play a video.
Looks good.
Dave Abrams, I'm chairman of the CUBAR Odyssey for San Diego Yacht Club. CUBAR is a powerboat rally from San Diego to La Paz with stops all along the outer side of the Baja and then up into the Sea of Cortez. The idea behind CUBAR was that traveling to Mexico, while it's really close for some people, it's a foreign country and they haven't had to deal with clearing customs and language barriers and even long distance cruising. A lot of folks that have boats in Southern California or in California take them out to local cruising grounds, but haven't done a lot of long distance cruising. So the concept's a little bit scary of taking a boat on a 950-mile voyage. So CUBAR gives cruisers the opportunity to go as a group, a number of other boaters, and have the comfort of having medical facilities and mechanics and other folks along the trip that can deal with emergencies, deal with problems that
arrive along the way, and know there are people and resources there to help them. Well, the purpose of CUBAR is to get you down to Baja safely. The fun part is meeting all the people that you'll meet along the cruise, because once you get down to the Sea of Cortez or get down to Mexico, you're going to run across these same boaters along your voyages afterwards. And so making a group of lifelong friends that you'll have after you get to Baja, and then having fun all along the way. You stop in a lot of cool ports that you may not otherwise have explored, and know how to get there safely, and having parties along the way in each of our stops, and dinner parties with other boaters going on, seeing other boats. Boaters always love to check out other people's boats and learn things, and part of it is learning by shared experiences, the boat chatter, whether it's fishing or new gadgets or whatever it is. There's a lot of fun experiences to be had.
Can you turn that one down?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was up there.
Not on here.
All right. So let me share my other screen here.
There we go. That might do it.
It sounds
All
like-
right.
Oh,
Bill, everybody, Brad, everybody can see that presentation now?
Yeah, it looks great, Dave. Last presentation was awesome. Thank you.
Good.
All right. So I'm going to kind of take you on a run through CUBAR. So CUBAR started back in 2009. Bruce Kessler, who's a well-known yachtsman, has a couple boats, Zopilote, big cruisers that he built, and he's circumnavigated a couple times and has documented his travel. It was kind of his thought to create an event really for power cruisers. There were lots of events, built around cruising for sailors, but nothing for power boats. And so he decided to make up this event and created CUBAR. Actually, originally created FUBAR, which was Fleet Underway to Baja Rally. But when we took it over at San Diego Yacht Club in 2013, I think it was our first event, FUBAR didn't seem like an appropriate thing for especially for kids to have on your T-shirt. So we changed it to Cruise Underway to Baja Rally. Really has two purposes. First, introducing people to boating in Mexico for those who may have had limited experience cruising in Mexico, and then there was always a philanthropic, a fundraising component to it. And fundraising, Bruce's idea was wanting to get kids involved in boating. And so working with contributing to the Sea Scouts or junior sailing. The other one I failed to put on there. Every time we do a CUBAR, we also raise money for facilities down in Mexico, either down in one of the more rural ports in Turtle Bay or Mag Bay, and helping folks down there. So there's a good cause along with a good cruise. It's a very well organized event. We do the heavy lifting, as part of the event for people that are planning to go down to Mexico. Starts off with a lot of pre-cruise activities. We have a training course. We actually, last event, we hosted 2 days of training here at the school that covers all sorts of topics related to cruising and a lot of safety topics and being prepared. Like anything else, you're taking your boat out offshore. Being prepared is what you need to do. We do coordinate all the customs processing. We get Fido Espinoza from Ensenada to come up and pre-clear everybody, so we don't have any issues when we get down to Ensenada, and then he hosts all the immigration folks at the marina. So all the customs clearance is done right there at the marina, makes it super simple, super fast. We have captain's meetings, everybody get to know each other, and then, big send-off party the night before we go. Our first leg, we have 6 legs on the trip. Our first leg is San Diego to La Paz. I'm sorry. The total trip is San Diego to La Paz. It's broken down into 6 legs. Last year, we did it in 18 days. We took our time going down and stopped for several days in each of the ports. The actual underway time, it's about 115 hours underway time. When I came back on the infamous Baja Bash, I did it nonstop in 6 days. But it's really 10 underway days with a lot of breaks in between to rest and enjoy and explore and have fun. Total trip's about 920 miles from San Diego to La Paz, a little more or less depending on the route. There are 3 overnight passages in that trip from San Diego to La Paz. And then, folks want to go explore from there. And so we had organized some side trips to Puerto Vallarta, and then had planned to go to Puerto Escondido before COVID hit. We kind of got shut down early on that, but Puerto Escondido is a little further up in the sea. So that's the route from San Diego. Stopping in Ensenada, Turtle Bay, Ag Bay in Santa Maria, San Jose del Cabo, Cabo San Lucas, and then around to La Paz. And then again, the folks that want to go down to Puerto Vallarta, and I'll talk about that leg here in a bit. So the first leg, San Diego to Ensenada, and whether you're going to do CUBAR or you're just want to check out Mexico, for those of you who don't want to do a long trip, Ensenada is only 65 miles away. And we're in CUBAR, we ran the rally we broke it up into 3 groups, a 7-knot group, an 8-knot group, and a 9-knot group. And when you're cruising long distance, nobody's going really fast. So, at 8 knots, it's about an 8-hour cruise. So it's definitely a doable day cruise for anybody, and certainly doable on fuel for most boats. We go down Ensenada, we clear immigrations in Ensenada, we take on, people stock up on provisions, fresh fruits and vegetables, etc. People top off their fuel before leaving on the next big leg, which is the longest leg of the trip. Ensenada is a pretty cool town. There's the route from San Diego to Ensenada, pretty straight shot. We go to the Hotel Corral Marina, which is just outside of Ensenada, and tucked away in a nice little bay. There's the Hotel Corral and Marina. Fido Espinoza, who's the general manager of the marina there, just a super knowledgeable guy about Mexico and cruising in Mexico, and connected with all the other marinas there in Mexico. The staff, couldn't be nicer. Nice facilities, clean, lots of amenities, pools and spas, great dock facilities. decent fuel prices, compared to other parts of Mexico. And there's a fair number of things to do in Ensenada, just in the city itself, and then outside, wine tours and such. Leg 2 is Ensenada Turtle Bay, and this is our longest leg of the trip. It's about 282 miles. It's about a 35-hour run for most people, and it's the first overnight run. So we start off CUBAR with this day run, shakedown, make sure everybody's boats are running well with an ocean passage, and then we hop right into the longest leg of the trip, which is an overnight run. The thing with CUBAR, there are not a lot of fuel stops along the way. Turtle Bay is the first and last real fuel stop before you get down to Cabo San Lucas. There's the potential for fuel in Mag Bay, but it's not as easy. Also, the potential for fuel for Cedros, but it's very hit and miss. So Turtle Bay is where we go for fuel. There's the run down. This is Cedros Island. Some people like to go on the outside, especially if they're fishing. Some people run the inside route. I always, going up and back, I chose to run the inside and just stay in the lee of Cedros and get a little protection from those northwest swells. It's a long run, 282 miles, but it's a pretty straight shot. This is Turtle Bay, big, wide open bay, no dangers in getting in here. And there is our fuel dock. So not like what most of us are used to in pulling into the fuel dock in Shelter Island. Fuel dock here is run by a guy named Enrique. And we negotiated with Enrique on fuel prices, and Enrique charges whatever Enrique feels like charging other people. The going rate these days from Enrique is around $8 or $9 a gallon. I think we negotiated a bargain rate of around, I think it was just under $6 a gallon. But that was only if we took his pangas to his restaurants to eat his lobster tacos at his restaurant. So you definitely get some characters down there. Turtle Bay, by the way, it's just a little fishing village. There is a little town there. There's some stores there. You can get a little bit of provisioning done in Turtle Bay. There are a couple little mercados to pick up provisions at, and there are a couple restaurants to go if you want to eat. And I'll say the lobster tacos were pretty good. Not worth the fuel discount, but they were pretty good. The third leg is Turtle Bay down to Bahia Santa Maria, which is just above Mag Bay. It's another pretty long run, 235 miles at 8 knots, which is about a 30-hour run, another overnight run. There's the shot going down to Mag Bay. And this is the one where you have we're at the furthest point, we're 30 to 40 miles offshore here. So you want to be prepared for offshore cruising as you make that hop down. We stop at Man of War Cove in Mag Bay and leg 4. So Santa Maria, just a little anchorage, really. There's nothing there. Nice, cool, quiet anchorage. And then the next day we took a little 4-hour cruise down inside to Mag Bay. And Mag Bay again is a little fishing village. But there are little cool things to do. This is a little restaurant. You can kind of call it a restaurant there. We were able to order some beer, and they fired up the barbecues for us, and a lot of folks brought fish in, and we hung out on the beach and barbecued, and just a really nice spot. You get down to Mag Bay, the water starts getting warmer, and there's fishing to do. There's a lot of wildlife cruises you can go on. You saw in the video, we took a dinghy cruise and went went into the mangroves and looked at the wildlife in the mangroves and sand dunes. So it's pretty interesting. It is rural. You are in rural Mexico here. There's not a ton of civilization. Leg 5 is Mag Bay to San Jose del Cabo. It's about 190 miles. It's about a 24-hour run. And we plan it so that you can get to the arch at Cabo at sunrise, and it is magnificent. I mean, after cruising for days out at sea, and you get to the arch at Cabo San Lucas, it lands in there, and the sun is coming up, and it's like, wow, we've arrived. It was a great feeling and a beautiful place to be. There's the run from Mag Bay, inside of Mag Bay, down to San Jose del Cabo, past Cabo San Lucas. The Baja Haha, the folks, the sailing version of CUBAR, they stop in Cabo San Lucas. We prefer to go around San Jose del Cabo. Not quite as touristy, much more quaint town. We stay at Puertos Los Cabos, which is the marina there. Really nice facilities. There's Puertos Los Cabos. And again, incredible people, super nice, very accommodating. San Jose del Cabo is just really a charming town to go to. There are, when you get down to Cabo, and both San Jose del Cabo and Cabo San Lucas, you're to your first real maintenance facilities. Marine Group, same folks here in San Diego, have a yard right there in San Jose del Cabo. Really nice dock facilities. There's a cool art walk that happens in San Jose del Cabo on Thursdays, and they really kind of pride themselves on their art, and you see all these sculptures all over the place. There's a dolphin training facility there, and they have porpoise shows that people go to. That was kind of a fun thing to watch. A lot of great fishing, of course. A lot of tournaments are held down in Cabo for a reason, because the fishing out down there is outstanding. And so a lot of folks get out there to fish. A lot of folks go down there to golf. Beautiful golf courses down there, a number of them. Lots of resort facilities if you want to get off the boat and stay at a resort. San Jose del Cabo has a really cool historic district, cobblestone streets and lots of great restaurants. Food was actually really pretty good down there.
We're making noise. I'm on mute.
Classic, quaint, old style colonial Mexican architecture. So after spending a time in San Jose del Cabo, some folks decide to break off, and instead of heading to La Paz, they go directly from San Jose del Cabo to Puerto Vallarta. It's again a pretty good overnight passage of 272 miles, and they head over to the Paradise Village Resort. Has been the most popular spot for people to go to, run by an American guy. That's Paradise Village Resort.
Been there?
I've not been there myself. This next trip, certainly planning to head to Puerto Vallarta, but people love it. It's warm down there. So people tend to want to go further south. The Sea of Cortez, when you get down there in December, January, February, it's a little bit windy and a little cooler. So people like to go down and hit the mainland, hit Mexico mainland during the real winter months, and then come back in the Sea of Cortez in kind of March, April timeframe. But getting back, for those that aren't heading to Puerto Vallarta, they go from San Jose del Cabo to Bahia de los Muertos, Bay of the Dead. But it was a beautiful spot. The name is a little off-putting, but a beautiful spot. Short run, 9 hour run to Muertos, and just zipping around the corner of the Cape. nice, open, sandy anchorage there at Muertos. Beautiful beach. Water is warm. You start to get that turquoise watercolor with the white sand beaches. And one thing I failed to mention the other spots, every time we stopped, we were doing boat-to-boat parties and really getting to know people. And you just make great friends as cruisers. People are there to help each other out. And I'll talk at the end a little about some of the reasons why that's a good thing. Another shot of Muertos there and some sunsets at night. It's just a beautiful spot when you start getting south into the sea. Then our last leg is Muertos to La Paz. Again, a short little day trip from Muertos around the corner up into the sea. And we go to Marina Costa Baja and have our welcome party. So a quick shot around the corner. Tons of islands, by the way. You'll see in the Sea of Cortez, there are just so many places to cruise to. Marina Costa Baja, another beautiful facility. These marinas are all built with Americans in mind. And most of the, or I won't say most, a lot of the cruisers that you'll find at these marinas in Mexico, they're Americans, they're Canadians. You get some big mega yachts that show up in all these marinas, but they're catered to service. And as I said, the people just could not be nicer in wanting to make sure that your stay there is comfortable. Great facility down there in La Paz. Clean resort, modern, comfortable, nice facilities. Great place to hang out. Beautiful beaches, and there's golf. There's this was the oh gosh, just forgot the name of it. The little walking strip along the bay in La Paz. La Paz is Mexico, and it's it's beautiful. You're not going to expect San Diego boardwalk kind of thing, but for what it is, it's great. And again, it's really about the people and the culture down there. A lot of art. I've seen a ton of sculptures. A lot of wildlife. The Sea of Cortez is known as Jacques Cousteau dubbed it the world's aquarium. And the sea life is great. A lot of marine mammals, and especially around the islands, you see it. These seal rookeries, candy for the seals. I guess I missed my picture. You saw in the video the whale sharks diving for whale sharks out of La Paz, diving with whale sharks out of La Paz. And it's really not diving, it's snorkeling. I mean, the whale sharks are right at the surface, and you're swimming around with these, 20, 30, 40 foot mammals. And they're krill plankton eaters. So you don't have to worry about getting munched on. But it's just amazing to be swimming with those kinds of creatures. Some folks, we have a big party at La Paz, celebrate our arrival down there, and then some folks will take off from there and still decide to head down to Puerto Vallarta or even points south, crossing the Sea of Cortez and cruising down the mainland. You can cross the Sea of Cortez from La Paz a much shorter distance than going from San Jose del Cabo. The crossing is a shorter distance. It's a longer way to go overall, but crossing the Sea of Cortez is only like 125 miles across the Sea of Cortez instead of 235 miles, whatever it was, from San Jose del Cabo. So it's if you want to avoid a much longer crossing, that's one way to do it. And then in April, we had planned to do have a rendezvous up at Marina Puerto Escondido up in the Sea of Cortez and visit Loreto, which is another very charming colonial Mexican town, and have a cocktail party and cruise the islands. There are islands all off of the inside of the Sea of Cortez, and lots of places to explore. Amanda and I, when we were cruising in our boat at one of the islands, we're in this large bay, and we're the only boat there, with a beautiful, mile-long white sand beach, just amazing, spectacular, turquoise blue water. One thing folks ask about with the CUBAR is, oh, great, you're with us to get us down there. How do we get home? And that's always a topic of discussion. And what we found is that, there's some folks that are very comfortable after cruising 950 miles down there and figuring it all out, and all the cruising they did down in Mexico. By the time they finish that, by April, May, when it's time to go home, they're experts, and they just go. I went by myself. Took a couple guys, and we just went. But there was we had what we called the quarantine fleet, the folks that had stayed down there past March last year, and were quarantining together, avoiding COVID. And they all cruised back together, 6 or 7 boats cruised back together. And there was a lot of buddy boating going on for people coming back. And that's, again, another great part about CUBAR is you meet a lot of people, you make a lot of friends, and you see those folks as you cruise around in Mexico, and easy to put together a group of people to go and cruise wherever you want to go. And there's just a lot of buddy boating going on. CUBAR itself is a powerboat rally. There is a sailing version called the Baja Haha that runs every year. So the Baja Haha is an annual event. CUBAR is every other year. And the Baja Haha is a much larger event. They get 100 to 150 boats going down. We're a little more intimate event. I think we had 24 boats going, and it ranges between 20 to 40 boats that go down together, and all sizes. We had boats from 45 feet to over 100 feet went down with us. So boats of all sizes can do it. Kind of the requirement is you have to be able to go 450 miles at 8 knots. And that's to cover fuel for the longest leg plus contingencies. We don't want anybody running out of fuel if we have to divert or the weather gets bad or something. So that's our fuel requirements, 450 nautical miles at 8 knots. We do, as part of CUBAR, we inspected all the vessels. We had a gentleman, Bob Center from Northern Lights, just a wizard when it comes to boats and engine rooms especially. He did an inspection of every vessel to make sure that they were safe and ready to go, and found a lot of things that people were able to fix before they left. We do recommend 4 people, on board as a crew, so you could have good rotations, plenty of rest, and preferably 2 people on watch at night. And we do have some equipment requirements, a Garmin InReach and AIS, so that we can communicate well, along with all the other standard safety equipment. So those are kind of the basic requirements to go, and with fuel really being the driver. CUBAR, the nice part about an organized event like this, we took care of all the immigration and port clearance. We had a couple doctors. We had 2 doctors and 2 EMTs along for the ride with the cruise. We had folks with great mechanical capability. We had lots of communication resources. We organized fuel discounts in San Diego and Mexico. We had professional weather routers that were giving us the scoop on weather, every single day telling us what was going on, what we could expect, and it was great. On the weather forecasting was amazing. Every day we were out going south, the weather was perfect. We had an incredible soft, smooth cruise down to Mexico. And then every day we got into port, it was gray and rainy and stormy. So I guess that's the way you'd want to have it rather than the other way around. But it was great having those weather forecasters. Of course, we have parties and activities all along the way, and the training seminar with training weekend. Lots of swag that we gather up for everybody, and but the biggest thing was the peace of mind, and just having a group of people, 100+ people that are with you to keep you company, make friends, and know that they're there to help you out. And I have a few points, a few stories where it was great that we had a group. You can't expect to have that many boats going that distance without some incidents. And we had 3 incidents. One from San Diego to Ensenada, somebody lost propulsion, and they broke apart on their transmission. And one of the boats that was going down with them, buddy boating, they hung with them and waited until they could effect some temporary repairs, and then cruise right alongside them to make sure they made it all the way to Ensenada. And then we were able to help them out and make sure they got their parts and were able to make the rest of the trip. When we were on our way to Mag Bay, somebody fell ill, and we coordinated with the Mexican Navy and had the Mexican Navy meet them on their boat and take them off and take them to a facility. And of course, we had resources there to take care of the boat. And then we got down to Muertos, Villa de Muertos, and one of the vessels ran aground. Just plane wasn't paying attention. It wasn't anything with the charting. I just didn't pay attention and touched bottom, and unfortunately bent the shaft. And again, we were able to pull them off with our tenders. We were able to get them off the sand and get him on his way, and have someone go with him to make sure he made it around to La Paz okay and got to the yard. So it was great having people along with you to make sure when things happen, there's resources there. And that's CUBAR. And with that, I'd love to open it up to any questions on CUBAR or cruising in Mexico in general.
Dave, thank you very much. And please, if you have any questions, go right ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. Bruce Gresham has a question. I don't know if he's unmuted, but
hey, that was a wonderful trip that you had down there. So did you have everybody make it finally up to Puerto Escondido?
Some folks got up to Puerto Escondido because they went early. A lot of us were hanging out down a little further south. And by the time we were ready to head to Puerto Escondido, COVID hit. So matter of fact, Amanda and I were about to jump on a plane to go grab the boat and head up to Puerto Escondido on March 17th.
Oh, that's bad timing.
Yeah, bad timing. So unfortunately, we didn't make it there. So, but it's there, and we're going to do it again.
Thank you.
Dave, this is Sandy Balone. I have a question. What is the smallest boat you've ever heard of going on this CUBAR expedition?
Good question, Sandy. I've heard of a 35-footer going. And actually on this trip, I was wrong. We had a 40-footer go this last trip. A Nordhaven 40 went, but I heard a 35 footer went in 2017.
I'm Nielsen here. Can you hear me? I don't know if we have a speaker or a mic. I don't have a mic. I don't have a mic.
Hey, Tom.
Hear me or no? We don't
Yeah,
have a
Me
mic.
too.
Oh, you do? Okay. So in 2017, we had a 28 footer, and they had done that trip 2 or 3 other times. I was the cruise captain at that point, and I was hesitant that they'd already done the trip a few times before, and so they made it all the way down there. They put it on a trailer and took it back north. So yeah, it can be done in a small boat.
And if I'm not wrong, Tom, they had a mechanical issue, if I recall, along the way, and they had to get towed by one of the other boats. The 40-footer towed them part of.
Yeah, they towed him in. We went by him, and he had a for emergency motor. He had a 20-horse brand new Honda outboard, and we tossed him some fuel, gave him all the gasoline we had on board, and tossed it to him on a line and floated over to them. They picked it up underway at sea, which was interesting. And then another boat came by and picked them up, towed it into Cabo. And it's really nice to have people around. That's the biggest thing, like Dave was saying, is having other vessels around, and also the people you meet become friends for a lifetime. It's really been great.
So what's the largest tender people bring along? Is everyone just coming in like 15, 20-foot dinghies, or they bringing?
Yeah, I didn't see any 20-foot tenders. There certainly were some share of 14 and 15 footers. That 100-foot trawler sport fish that we had come down had a real nice tender.
So most people have just a regular tender, but some people also bring a small inflatable tender with a small outboard on it, and they can put wheels on, and they'll carry that with them as well. That way they can go to the beaches where, my tender is 800 pounds. You have to be careful. We've had a small tender that you can lift up and carry on shore. I've seen numerous boats do that.
Hey, Dave, this is Dale Bingham. Is there plans for 2021?
Yeah, good question, Dale. Actually, just got the word from Commodore today that we are a green light for 2021. So we'll start getting some plans in place, and this time we're gonna hire a person to act as the event coordinator, because it's a fair amount of work for an all volunteer crew, and would love to have some volunteers if there are folks that are interested in participating. Even if you don't want to take your own boat down, there's always slots on other boats if you want to go on the trip. And so if you'd like to volunteer and help out in the planning, or you go on the trip, just go on the CUBAR website, which is you can get to it from the San Diego Yacht Club website, or you can go to cubar.org and just put in a note there on the interest list. But CUBAR is a go. Thanks, Dale.
Cool. And also, are you going to stay involved in it in some capacity?
I am going to stay involved. And I got to be careful what I say, because my wife Amanda is on the line, and if she heard that I was going all in, I might be sleeping in my office for a while. But I definitely will be involved, and I'm gonna go on the trip. And my intention is to lead it with a good support team.
Good. One more question, if I may, and I don't know how you can address this, but our experience with Enrique in Turtle Bay getting fuel is that you can negotiate a price, but he controls how much fuel you get. So when you asked for 350 gallons, we found you got 300. Just one personal experience. I was curious what your observation was.
Yeah, I didn't hear of any, during our trip, I didn't hear of anyone say that they thought they got ripped off. And they do use the pumps. For a while there, Enrique also had some pangas with, 55-gallon drums and hand cranks and all that. And
Right.
Not only was the quantity of the fuel dubious, but so was the quality. And all the folks that took fuel this time around took it from the fuel dock, and things seemed to go pretty well. We organized time slots for people so that there was an organized schedule of who was going to get fuel when, and we knew how much they were going to take in advance. So Enrique was ready for the quantity of fuel that he was going to have to deliver. And again, we negotiated a group discount price based on that quantity.
Great. Thank you very much. Appreciate your doing this for 2019. Thanks for the presentation as well.
Thanks, Dale.
Hey, Dave, just one more question. What was the longest fuel run, the longest run? How much gas did you need to have for the longest run?
So it's 285 miles. I think it's 285. I have to go back to my presentation, roughly. And it's whatever your boat burns at 8 knots. For me, I burn about 5 to 6 gallons an hour. So it's nothing. There were some folks that wanted to go fast and make it faster. They burned a lot more fuel. But folks are generally pretty economical at 8 knots, but that's the longest run.
So what are you figuring, like 300 to 325 minimum capacity, mileage wise?
I'd say 450, because you want to keep about a 1/3 fuel reserve, right? You don't want to go below 1/3 of a tank. You start going below a 1/3 of a tank, it affects both the stability of the vessel, because your fuel also acts as ballast, but also you start getting down into the bottom of the tank, and if your tanks haven't been cleaned in a while, there's a lot of gunk down there. And you get down to the very bottom of the tank and you start picking up a lot of particulate that you start clogging up fuel filters. So while it's a 285-mile run, want a good one, that should be 2/3 of your fuel consumption. So roughly 450-mile capacity in fuel.
Hey Dave, this is Chris Miller. We've had our boat for about 4 years, and we've never done a Mexico trip or anything like that. So for the CUBAR, when do you usually depart, and then how long is the trip usually?
Yeah, so we usually leave right around the 1st of November. So hurricane season generally ends, at the beginning of November. There have been late season storms, but they're pretty rare. So we time it for the 1st of November. Most insurance companies too, your insurance policies will preclude you from being south of Ensenada before November 1st. And so November 1st is kind of the magic day that we say that's when we'll kick off, or at least we won't leave for, we left this last time October 30th. But we didn't leave Ensenada until after the 1st, so we were okay for everybody's insurance. And then, this last time going down, we planned to arrive in La Paz on November 17th, but we really took our time. And I think doing it again, we might cut that down a few days. And so maybe it's, we can keep it to maybe a 2-week trip as opposed to 17 days. But you don't want to rush it either. You want to leave plenty of flexibility in there for weather, because we can't forecast the weather 2 weeks out. So we want to have enough weather contingencies in there. And we want to enjoy the trip. The Baja Haha takes a different approach for you power boaters that have big sticks coming out of the boat. They take a different approach, and they basically blast down. And I think they make the run in like 10 days or 9 days or something. They really don't stop anywhere to enjoy it. And I think that's the difference. This is more of a leisurely, let's enjoy it, get to know Mexico on the way down.
That sounds great. Thank you.
It's Allie. I was going to ask, if I took my big stick out of my boat, could I qualify for CUBAR?
Absolutely.
All the other. But then I also wanted to remind everybody that you and I did a sailcast together just before you left that has some more information in it and has, I think, you candidly describing some of the experiences that people can get access to online.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for reminding me about that, Allie. And yeah, there is a sailcast, and there are a couple videos and a bunch of photos on the website at cubar.org, or you can get to that through the San Diego Yacht Club website.
Dave, curious about the weather. What is the weather forecasting method that you use? Did you hire a company to do that?
We did. We hired an outfit. All the weather forecasting companies are back on the East Coast for some reason, but we hired one of the East Coast weather routing firms, WRI, Weather Routing Inc., and they were just fantastic. We communicated with them every day, updating them on our position, and they would update us with the daily forecast of what we could expect for our next 24-hour run. And they were great, keeping us out of any bad stuff. I tell you, I think I mortgaged my soul for good weather, and got it. We had the most gentle conditions going down. There was one day of our cruise going down off the coast. It was like glass. I mean, you just perfect flat, like we were cruising on a lake. So we were really fortunate to have some great weather. And I'll tell you, for me, people are always concerned about the infamous Baja Bash. The Baja Bash was a lot better for me than going south. My boat does not like quartering seas, and she rolls like a pig in quartering seas. But going uphill, she just plows right into the waves. So we had the same weather going north as we did going south. Just calm, not a lot of wind. We hit a fog bank for about 300 miles. But other than that, we had great weather, round trip.
Thanks.
Anybody else?
Yeah, Pam Wright is trying to ask a question. Didn't know. They want to know the fuel cost to return at Turtle Bay and also in La Paz.
Yeah, so you want to have the least amount of fuel that you need to buy as possible in Turtle Bay. Enrique, again, he charges kind of what he feels the market will bear on that particular day. So depending on how desperate you sound, will set your fuel price. I've heard rates anywhere from $8-9 a gallon. Like I said, we negotiated a discounted rate of I think it was just under $6, or right about $6 a gallon, and that was the discounted rate. The rates down in Mexico, in Cabo, and in La Paz are very much on par with what we pay in San Diego. I think down in Mexico, they know that everybody's coming from Southern California, or we get a lot of folks from California, and they know what people are paying, and so they know what we're used to paying, so they charge accordingly. So very much very similar prices to what we pay in California. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening, and I encourage you, if you have any interest, to go on the CUBAR website. Like I said, you don't have to bring your boat. If you want to go, there are always people that are looking for crew, and you can hitch a ride on somebody else's boat if you want to experience it, but don't want to bring your boat down. And if you would like to get involved, again, reach out on the CUBAR website, or you can email me directly. And my email is dave@trlmi.com. That's Tango Romeo Lima Mike India.com.
Dave, thank you so much for a wonderful presentation. Very stimulating. I would ask that we give Bruce Gresham just a minute or so. He'd like to talk about the Mission Bay cruise for a moment. Bruce, if you're still there, could you please speak up?
Hello. Thanks everybody for sticking around. This is a real quick presentation. Everybody's excited about Dave's trip. And so to get ready and learn how to take your boat, we have a cruise to Mission Bay on March 19th through 21st. We have a minimum requirement. You have to be able to go 30 miles in your boat, sailboat or powerboat. And take it like that. It'll be a lot of fun. So I'm really kind of talking to Daniel and Lorraine and Sandy and Bob on this, but I'm going to share my screen and talk about this. We've got 10 boats signed up. We're looking for 20 boats to get around to Mission Bay. And once you get into Mission Bay, I'm told to look out. There's a huge barge full of rocks. They're working on the jetties. And so they'll probably be there when we show up next month to come in. We're going to Mariners Cove. And because we can't raft up, we have to spread out. And it's not as big as Turtle Bay or any other places. So we have to sort of cram in. So if you look here, these are the 3 places that you can anchor, or there's actually 4 places in Mariners Cove. We'll start right in here. It's up next to the beach. It's pretty relaxing. You can sneak in here, and if there's still no room, you can get up into the north part of Mariners Cove. But all this yellow area right here, it's very shallow and very sandy. So show up there, 5 o'clock, we're going over to Mission Bay Yacht Club. And Mission Bay is it's a beautiful little powerboat ride over here to El Carmel Point. And you want to go to this dock right here outside the Yacht Club's warehouse. And we're going to be on this blue area, and that's where they get for that. And so that's Friday. And
what were the dates again, Bruce? March what?
It's March 19th through 21st. So that's the first day of spring.
Do you know if we need to get permits to anchor there, or
no?
First come, first served? First
come, first served. And there's always, we've had places in there. And we're the cruise captains who are Diane Snyder, Dave Grundy's, my wife Shirley, and Vicki and Craig Barrett will be there. We're going to help people anchor and kind of show them where everybody should go.
March 19th to the 21st, is that a change from what we had before?
Yeah, it was March 2020.
Yeah, it was the first event that got canceled due to COVID. So it was about the same time. But this year it's first day of spring. And so once we, so that's the, let me see here, I'm zooming in. So that's Friday night. Saturday, we're going to do an SUP clinic all around Mission Bay. We're going to have SUP coaches to help you get your board going and be strong so you can do all of this more cruising. And but you have to be done really quickly, because then we're going over to lunch at Sportsman Seafood, which is fresh fish, whatever they catch, they're going to serve us whatever. So whatever comes in on the boat that morning, they're going to cook up for us. And Dave Grundy's has made that arrangement. And I'm just zooming in here so that you can see the dock. This is the dock that we sneak into. So just go right into here, tie up in these docks, and we're going to eat lunch outside safely right here. We've done this a few times and it's great food. And then we're going to come back, and the afternoon event is going to be a sing-along from your dinghies. We'll pull up to a boat with amplifiers, and here's my guitar back here that we're going to have a nice sing-along. Our guests for the afternoon are going to be Bob Vincent and his brand new runabout fleet. So Sandra, you'll be able to see other boats that are like the size of your small Boston whaler that are going to come over, and they'll just be doing their own thing. but it'll be fun to see them. Dinner on your own. Sunday morning, we're going to have, instead of the swag of the CUBAR, we're going to have Starbucks coffee delivered to the transom of every person. And all the cruise captains will come around, and it's a pretty fun deal.
And burritos.
And burritos. You order ahead of time, we'll bring burritos, and you don't even have to cook any food at all. So the cooks on the boat are going to like that. And that's it. So we look forward to seeing everybody in Mission Bay, Mariners Basin, first day of spring.
Bruce, that's
thanks so much, Brad.
Can't wait. Sign up now.
Sign up now.
Looking forward to it.
We're probably going to have to limit the number of boats because we can't raft up. So if you want to go ahead and sign it up.
Thank you so much, Bruce, for that introduction of March.
You're welcome.
Dave, thank you so much for your CUBAR talk. We really appreciate it. Anything else that anybody has? If not, we're going to sign off. What do you say, Bill?
No, sounds good. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Dave.
Great presentation. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
We're all excited. Bye.
Good job, Bruce.
Thank you, everyone.
See you on the water.